Welcome to Graphic Design, Designing a Button, presented by the Mount Royal University Library Maker Studio. In this video, you will learn how to design a graphic to be used to make buttons in two different graphic design software,
Adobe Illustrator and Canva.
For more project ideas, resources, and information, you can go to the Maker Studio website, which is found on the Mount Royal University Library website under Spaces.
In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the Mount Royal University is situated on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, including the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, and the Tsuut'ina and the Stoney Nakoda nations, as well as the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta.
In the Maker Studio, we have three different sizes of button makers. We have 3-inch, 1-inch, and 1.75-inch. You provide the graphic, and the Maker Studio will provide the button making parts. Buttons are limited to 25 per project. If you require more than that, you will have to provide the button making supplies, and you can ask the Maker Studio staff where to acquire the supplies. So the first thing to mention is that even though I'm going to be showing you today how to design a button in Adobe Illustrator and in Canva, you don't need to use those software to create your button. You can use any kind of software that you can draw a circle in and then print onto a piece of paper. So like Word, whatever you're most comfortable with. You just need to use the correct sizes, which is what I'm going to show you today. In fact, you can even draw a circle that's the correct size and then create your graphic with like crayon or pencil crayons or anything you want. But what I'd like to show you now is where you can download the templates for the button sizes that we have in the Maker Studio to be used in Adobe Illustrator. So you go to the Mount Royal University Library website and you click on Spaces and you go to the Maker Studio. And then you go to Resources and Button Makers. And the resource you need is Button Maker Templates. So when you click on that, you'll see that we have a small, medium, and large document, and these are for Adobe Illustrator. So you just click on them and download the document and then open it up in Illustrator. So here we have our three templates downloaded from our website. We have small, medium, and large. I'm going to be demonstrating how to make a button using the medium template. So you can see we have a whole page full, but you don't have to use all of these. So I recommend when you create your Illustrator file to use the paper size, so 8.5 by 11. That way when you print it, it'll be able to print on normal size paper. It'll be nice and easy. So in this video, I'm not going to be teaching you the basics of Illustrator. We actually have a lot of different workshops and videos available to teach you that. I recommend the how to trace an image in Illustrator. That one's really good, or how to make a logo. Those are great workshops that you can take, and also videos available on our webpage. So today I'm just going to be teaching you how to design a button in Illustrator. So I've downloaded this picture of my cat, so it is ready to be placed. So the first one, I'm going to do just a plain picture of my cat. Now it's on top of my template, and that doesn't help. I can't see the lines, so I'm going to send it back by right-clicking and arrange and then send to back. And now you can see all of the template is on top of it. I'm just going to zoom in by holding down the Alt key and using the wheel on my mouse. So you can see my image is selected because it has this bounding box around it. If you take a look at the template, we have a solid line and a dotted line. So the solid line is actually what the shape the button cutter will do. So when you bring this in, it'll cut this exact shape. But the dotted line is where is actually the front of the button. The paper of the button has to wrap around. So it's important to see that so you'll know if part of your image is going to be hidden or wrapped around. You don't want text to be missing or important parts of your image. So you can see here that my image is a little bit too small. So I'm going to just scale it. I'm going to hold the Shift key while I do this so that it doesn't get skewed, and I'm going to click and drag. Make it a little bigger. I think it's almost there. There we go. And then I'm going to move it around so that my cat fits in the button. Maybe a little bit bigger. There we go. So I know that all of the image will be in the button. So I'm just doing a solid image of my cat. I'm not adding anything yet, so I know I don't really need these guidelines anymore. So I'm just going to delete the dotted line. So what I'm going to do now is called a clipping mask. I'm going to take away everything that's on the outside of this shape so that when I print it, I won't have to waste a bunch of ink, and it also won't be covering other templates that I have on here. So to do that, you just select your image, hold Shift, select your circle, and then right click, make clipping mask. And there you go. Now you have a great image to make in the button makers. Next, I'm going to show you how to add some text and some background color. So I'm going to select this circle, and then I'm going to change the inside color. Right now it doesn't have one, and I can tell that over here by this fill icon. It says none. That's what that red line through means. And this is the stroke icon, which is black. You can see that it's black, but I don't need to change that. So you can click on the fill so that it's overlapping the stroke, and then double click on it, and then you'll get your color picker window open up. So you can actually just pick a color. There we go. Hit OK. And now the inside of your button is full of color, and it'll print just like that. And now let's say we wanted to add some text. We can do that by selecting the text tool, which is right here. Select that. And now select once, you get your lorem ipsum. And remember, in Illustrator, if you don't change your tool, you keep the tool you have. So I still have the text tool. So no matter where I click, I'll just keep getting text. So I'm going to delete that. And then I'm going to hit V or use the selection tool. There we go. So I'm going to just center it. There we go. And if I double click, I can change the text. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to change the font under the character panel. And I'm going to change the size, and you can do tons of different things with this. Okay. All right, now I have a great button. It's this nice bluey purple color with some text, which I actually should change. So let's make that Maker Studio. I don't really need this dotted guide anymore. So I'm going to hit the selection tool, and I'm going to select the dotted line, hit delete. There, perfect. Now I'm going to show you how to add text and a border and an image for this third one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this circle be full of colors. So I think I'll pick, just going to double click on the fill again. Let's do some pink. That's fine. Okay, so it's got pink for the fill. Now I want to add a picture of my cat. So I'm just going to select my picture of my cat again. Go Control C, Control V, copy, paste. Put that in there. I'm actually going to send it back so I can see the dotted lines. There we go. And, oh, I think I sent it too far back. Just going to undo that. Arrange, send backwards. I just want to see the dotted lines. And it's not letting me do it. All right. You know what? I'm going to choose these dotted lines and I'm going to move them forward. Arrange, bring to front. Put that on top. So I'm going to do the clipping mask again. I'm going to choose the image of the cat, hold shift, dotted line, right click, make clipping mask. And now you can see there's a border, and this will be what's wrapped around the button. This will be the front of it, and this purple color will be the sides. And that should look pretty sharp. So what I can do here is I can actually add text to go along a path. Because I used a clipping mask for these, it might not work. So I'm actually going to draw another circle, or I could actually just copy and paste one of these circles. So I'll do this one. Copy and paste. And I'm going to bring it in here. There we go. All right, let's do type on a path. So how that works is you go to the type tool, right click, type on a path tool, and then you select the path that you want the text to follow. So I'm going to select this one. Now you can see that it's the lorem ipsum again. So I'm just going to write Maker Studio, hit escape. When I do that, I get this bounding box that has this line, and I can use this little guy to click and drag and move my text so I can have it up or down. There we go. If I want it to be in the part that wraps around, I would leave it here. But I kind of want it to be on my image, so I'm going to just line it up there. Oops. Just line it up. Here we go. And that would look fantastic. If I want to make it a little smaller, I can actually change the size. So I can click on it, get this bounding box again, hold shift, grab this handle, and pull it in.
And there you go, all finished. So when I'm ready to save my document and then print it out and bring it into the Maker Studio to make buttons, I will go up to File and then Save As or Export As, and I'll choose an image, so a JPEG or a PDF, something like that. And then I will print it out. You can print it out in color in the library and bring it into the Maker Studio and make some buttons.
So if you are wanting to make a button and you don't have access to Adobe Illustrator, this is the size of the buttons. So the large 3-inch one is actually 3.5 inches, and the inside dotted line, the ones that it's just a guideline, is 2.9. The medium buttons are 2.1 inches, and the inside is 1.7 inches, and the small one is 1.3, and the inside is 0.95. So it's important to remember these measurements when you're creating a button in Canva. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to design a button in Canva. Canva is a drag and drop graphic design platform that's free, so it's great. You can just go online, make an account, and get to use all of these great resources. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a design. So when you're on your home screen, that's here, you can click on Create a Design and just choose letter. Just have to scroll down a little bit. There we go. And then your artboard or your canvas is 8.5 by 11. So it's super easy. What you can do, what I like to do first is I'll upload any images that I want to do. So I'm just going to go to Uploads. And you can see I've already have images. It's really easy, upload media, and then you can download or upload anything that you have on your computer. So there's a picture of my cat that I used earlier. So what I'm going to do is actually go to elements. Elements are great. There's tons of different things you can use in here. Most of these are free. You can see it'll say free when you hover over it. Some of them are pro and they cost money, but they have lots of free stuff available. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to use what's called a frame in Canva. So under elements, just click on the circle frame, and then it's really easy to size it. Just go to this little handle, hold shift and scroll down, and you can see the size change. I don't think you need to hold shift. Nope, you don't. Scroll down until it says 3. You know what we're gonna do is 2.1, which is the size of the medium button. Then you can click and drag it to anywhere you want on your paper. And now you can add an image. So if I go to my uploads and I grab the picture of my cat and I pop it in there, there it is. Now it's important to remember that we still have that wraparound. So I'm going to actually add this shape. It's just a ring shape to give me a guideline. And you can find this one by going to Lines and Shapes and clicking on See All. Oh, that went to frames. Let's get out of frames. Lines and Shapes. See All. There we go. And there it is. So I can click on that and it gives me this one, this shape, this ring. So if I click and drag, I can make it the 1.7 inches that the guideline is, the dotted line from the Illustrator file. And then I can put it over. Let's zoom in a little bit. So I can see that a lot of my cat's ears and stuff are going to be wrapped around. So I might want to make it a little bit bigger. So, or I can try to scale this picture. If I double click on the picture, I can click and drag and then move it back in. There we go. So that's a little better, only a little bit over. So let's try again. I double click, I double click on it. It shows me my actual image, and I can click and drag and make it a little bigger. And I can move it. Yeah, it's a little more difficult with this one, but I think, there we go. So now I get her face, and that's great. Now I know I don't need this, so I can get rid of it and I can print my picture. But let's say I wanted to do it with a border. What I would do then, and actually have the whole image inside this smaller circle, is I would, again, get rid of the lines and shapes up here in the search, and I would select the frame that I had. I would size it to be 2.1. And then bring in, or not 2.1, sorry, I'm going to make it 1.7. And then go to Uploads, bring in my cat picture. And then I'm going to actually go back to Elements, and I'm actually going to use just the shape, so the solid circle shape. So select that. I'm going to make that 2.1. Go, and I can actually, it's going to cover my picture, so I need to bring it backwards. So you can do that in Canva by right-clicking, send backwards, or you can actually do it here as well. Click on here, and you can change its position as long as it's selected. So now that it's selected, I'm going to just drag it, and Canva's giving me these great lines to show me that it's perfectly centered behind my image. And now I'll show you how to, it isn't. Let's see if I can make that a little bit better. There we go. So if I select this background circle, which is gray, I can change the color of it by going over to this gray square, which says color. When I hover over it, I select it, and now I have all of these options for changing the color. And the nice thing about Canva is it's actually, because I have an image in it, it's actually showing me colors that it's pulling from the image, which is great. But now I have a nice wraparound border color, and I have my image, the full image in the front. So that's great. So if I wanted to add some text, you can do that in Canva by, that's right, going over to the text. And you can choose any of these sizes. I'm going to choose maybe a subheading. And I'll say Maker Studio. And you can change the size here. And it gives you, when you have your text selected, all of these options show up here in the toolbar. So I can change the size here, I can change the color, I can change the font, and then I can just move it by going over this little move icon and adding it there. If I want to, I can actually make it so it's curved. So how you do that in Canva is you go to Effects, while the text is selected, and you can actually choose Curve. So when I select that, it curves it for me, and I can use this little slider to change the circle that it curves on, and when I go past this middle point, it goes backwards. So I can do this, and then I could move it down. So that's how you design a button in Canva. And the great thing is that you don't need to use your own uploads. You can actually use any of the photos that they have already included. This one is free, so I could click on that and I could put that into a frame. Remember, under Elements, Frame. Just have to select it and put it in, right? So there's a lot of different things that you can do with Canva. It's so great because you just have to click and drag it in. And when you're ready to print your paper to bring into the Maker Studio, just select this little arrow here for downloading and choose this drop down, and I would just pick JPEG and then download it. If you have further questions, you can contact the Maker Studio at makerstudio@mtroyal.ca, or you can email the Maker Studio staff.